What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Beanball Podcast. We are your hosts, Alan and Alan. This is episode 62.
What's up, man?
What's going on, bud?
62. That's a good number.
Yep. So, hope everyone had a good week. Some fun times. Summer's almost over.
Yeah, man.
Most of y'all, kids are going back to school. We here in Virginia go back in, 2 weeks? I can feel you at the hotel. We're dying down. So, be interesting. So let's get right into the fun stuff. Field of Dreams game, man.
Yeah, man. Field of Dreams game. If you guys haven't heard, they actually built it. And yes, they did come. Yes. Finally. I know it was supposed to happen last year, and we finally got it in this season, and it was amazing. We had the White Sox against the Yankees. And, man, what a game.
The pregame ceremony, the atmosphere. It just all was just a great feeling. So I tuned in. It's like an hour long before the game started. They're doing a bunch of things talking about it. And stuff.
Poppy and Alex Rodriguez is there. It was so funny because they were making fun. Like they had like a little commercial or something that happened before the game.
Play catch?
Yeah. Poppy's or Alex Rodriguez said, "Hey, you want to go have a catch?" And Poppy's like, "No, you're a Yankee. We're never gonna do that." Oh man, that was great.
Yeah.
But when it got real, was the moment that they started walking out of the cornfield.
Yeah, and of course,
that was
Kevin
crazy.
Costner.
Yes.
Look, and then you heard like the little chime, and then here comes White Sox and Yankees players.
When they came out of there, I was getting goosebumps. I was like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
Man,
just imagine being there, seeing that, and then the game itself was just back and forth. Which they said that batting practice during the game, like, look, we might see some fly balls because the ball was jumping during batting practice, and it did not disappoint.
Man,
first inning, went right into the corn.
Yep.
And that wasn't the only one.
Oh, I know. And, and it's crazy because when you look at the field, there's nothing around it. It's crazy to see a Major League game happen in this really beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
Just surrounded by countryside, and they had a cool maze next to it. I thought it was a great field game, man. And like you said, I think you said it was about 8,000 fans or so.
I think just over, just under. Pretty much they're saying 8,000.
I think it was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect setting for the game.
Yeah. And the good thing they said, of course, before the game, we talked about that they will do it next year. And they have announced who's going to be the teams. It's going to be the Cubs and the Reds. But it was just awesome, especially the White Sox in their old jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them getting the walk-off home run, even though Yankees made a game there at the end.
And it was a good game in general because, you start out, you got Lance Lynn on the mound. And the Yankees are hot, like you said.
Yeah.
And the White Sox are pretty solid as well. So, I thought it was really great, especially the action. I mean, because normally, like, hey, any given night you can have a game where it's just like 1-0 or like 2-3 or something like that. This game went pretty well. It was action packed.
Yeah, and just being at the game, it was the highest TV rating in the last a couple years of a regular season game because it's the Field of Dreams and the Yankees White Sox. So will next year being Cubs and Reds have the same draw? Probably not.
Yeah,
it's not the Yankees,
right?
And especially because you're looking at it, Cubs look like they're going to be rebuilding. Reds, we don't know what's going to happen with them yet, if they're going to tear it down this offseason or not. But looking at it yes, it might have a draw because Field Dream, but you're not going to get the same atmosphere of that first game where walking out of center field with Kevin Costner and just the atmosphere of seeing it for the first time. And so it's cool. It's going to be like a normal thing now, but the first one definitely this year was special.
Oh, and it was very special, like I said, because of the gameplay too, man. So not only did they put on a show, it was nuts when you think about it. Because I don't remember the scenario, but I know that the Yankees were down by 3.
Yes.
In the top of the ninth with 2 outs.
And
they scored 4 runs to take the lead by 1. Oh my God, dude, that was sick. And everybody's, you're just thinking it's over.
Then Anderson.
And then Timmy comes up, Tim Anderson, 2-run blast to walk it off with the fireworks in the background. Yeah. You cannot ask for a better game.
No, it was beautiful. It was perfect. It was very well done, with the corn in the outfield. And I saw a couple TikToks of some kids in center field when Stanton hit the tying home run.
Mm-hmm.
They ran after and found the ball in the cornfield and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's just amazing. Just running through that and finding probably all the balls they probably find during batting practice too. If they said it was launched in the yard, but It was interesting. It was awesome.
Dude, the walk-off, man, that just set the whole mood.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because Anderson said he's never seen Field of Dreams. I bet he's going to watch it now.
Oh, yeah. I bet the day off the next day, since they get a day off to travel.
You had to.
On the way home, they had, let's watch the game.
He said the fans came to see a show, and we gave it to him. Or we gave him a show.
That's understatement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, I told you I work with I guess you could say his brother-in-law. And I'm like, man, did you see that game? He's like, yeah, my dad's talking about it. I'm like, look, man, I gotta ask him if he's gonna see the movie or watch it, because he definitely put on the show.
Yeah, it's very, and it's funny because I walked around Target today and they had it like right out the Blu-ray copy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all trying to push this now?
Got to,
man. So yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what the next year how it feels, but it's of course not gonna feel the same. Like I said, we'll see what the teams are, right. How they are at that point.
Also, this game was cool because, everybody you wanted to see do well was doing well.
Yeah.
Judge crushing the ball. Giancarlo Stanton hitting home runs, too. Anderson with the walk-off. I'm just saying, yeah, it was great. And then, look, I'm super happy with the way this came out.
Yeah.
And like you said, next game is going to be the Reds and the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool, too. I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of competitively on the field they are. Cubs sold the farm. Well, not the farm, but they sold the team pretty much. So we'll see what kind of rebuilding mode they're in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So let's get right into the next hot topic that I guess happened yesterday, the time of recording this, is the Detroit game versus Angels, and Jack Morrison, Hall of Famer, of course, analyst for Detroit, made some comments about Ohtani before his at-bat in the 9th inning, and man, he got suspended. It's, a lot of people, and then I was like, okay, I'm curious what this is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it myself. I saw that Jack Morris apologized during the game, and then he ended up getting suspended indefinitely. So I'm sure they're going to make him take some kind of course.
They said this is zero tolerance. We're going to take a training. And
yep.
So pretty much, if you haven't heard, you can probably YouTube it and see exactly how tone, but pretty much in an Asian kind of tone, because they asked him, because I think one or two people were on base and Ohtani was coming up to bat. Like, what do you do here, Ohtani? And his be very, very careful, and an Asian accent. So, and then I think they changed pitches, because then he came and called and was like, I do apologize. That's when he started the apology before Ohtani even took his at bat. Mm-hmm. So someone clearly came in yo, you can't do that. Bro, what are you thinking? During that commercial break or something, or maybe it was his team, his analyst mate.
Well, right, like you said, I mean, even probably on Twitter or something like that. The backlash of what he said was so huge. He apologized a couple innings later. So that's what I'm saying.
Moments later, he got wind. So
man,
it's we'll see what happens. This ain't the first time an analyst. Was it last year with the Reds analyst? I feel like he said something, the hot mic or something, and he had to go through training and stuff. It's
well, yeah, and then once he apologized, he said, "Well, folks, Shohei Ohtani is coming to the plate, and it's been brought to my attention, and I sincerely apologize if I offended anybody, especially anybody in the Asian community, for what I said about pitching and being careful to Shohei Ohtani. I did not intend for any offensive thing. I apologize if I did. I certainly respect and have the utmost respect for the guy, and don't blame a pitcher for walking him." He gets it. He's a former pitcher. He was inducted in 2018. But you got to be careful what you say, especially these days.
Yeah. At first, I'm because I saw someone said be very careful. I'm like, what do you mean? And I clicked on.
Right, you're like, oh, that's all he said, and then you heard the way he said it.
I was like, okay, yeah. I can kind of get where it's kind of, I'm like, gotcha. I'm like, well, we've learned, because who was it about the do-rag scenario with Stroman earlier this season? It's certain stuff, you just gotta watch what you say and think about it, because you are not to say a big influence, especially if some young person is watching, is that it's not looking good, especially. You have your fans around Detroit are probably tuning in to watch a Cabrera trying to get his 500 home run still, and then Ohtani's now facing your favorite team. Let's see what he does against my team.
Yeah,
I can see it. So, all
right,
come on, Jack, do better next time, man.
All right, well, let's get on some brighter news. Little League Baseball is back.
Yeah, tournament's back, but then we also will get the Little League Classic back this weekend.
Oh, yeah, the Classic.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, how do you feel about the Classics jerseys?
I actually like them because, the years past they were what is it? What were they called technically? The the players' jerseys where they pretty much all put the nicknames.
Yeah.
It was all color. I can't remember exactly what the name was. I think it was just the players weekend.
But is that still the game where they play with the
usually
Little
one
Leaguers?
of the teams, it was where the whole MLB got to wear those jerseys, and those two teams played in the makeshift stadium.
I remember last time those two teams played. Man, that was pretty cool because they were out there.
I think it was actually us. I think it was the Mets.
Yeah, and they were hanging out with everyone.
Yeah, because the startings who weren't pitching, they went and sat in the crowd with some of the little leaguers.
Well, the Little League Classic uniforms are pretty cool because they're not button ups. They're like the pullovers.
Yeah, and they're actually like what you would be wearing in Little. We represent the Midwest.
You're up the Great Lakes.
And the Great Lakes, yeah.
I'm looking at the Angels and Cubs uniform.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. They could have done something like this for the All-Star game, if you ask me. Man,
like,
but no, Nike did good on this one. I like this jersey.
I like it how they kind of stay with the theme. It's not where I don't know if they're doing the nicknames on the back for this game or not, but I like the idea of looking like the actual what the Little League World Series tournament is.
Yeah, so it looks like they play at Bowman Field in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that's obviously the famous site of the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
Looks pretty sweet.
Yep.
Is that going to be the teams playing then?
Yeah, those are the two teams playing this weekend.
Nice. So we get to see Shohei.
Oh man, see who puts on a show for these kids.
That's right, man.
Man, I wonder how that worked out this year for them. I bet they wish Mike Trout was there too.
Especially, of course.
Pennsylvania. Man, not that far from home. Even though I think you're allowed if you're the kids and the parents at the tournament are allowed the game, but still, just being the Mike Trout, you think you've seen what Ohtani's doing, then see like the Mike Trout for these kids. It would have been like an awesome show. But unfortunately, still hurt and still no news really about Mike Trout. I think he's getting shut down. So, speaking getting shut down.
Yes. Man. This one was crazy, man.
So, if you haven't seen last night, Chris, was it Bassett, right?
Chris Bassett.
Bassett was hit in the face by a liner.
100-mile-per-hour line drive to the face.
To the face. And Allback went down, of course, no play on the ball, but they signaled right away.
Facial fracture. Like, he was on the ground, not moving, bleeding immediately.
Yeah.
And, everybody was, like, out of it, man. It was hard to even play the game after that happened.
Yeah, like, first I remember the whole Kevin Pillar scenario where everyone just saw the blood at home.
Oh, man, I remember that, too. I couldn't get over that.
I was like, but this, he covered almost instantly. Of course, since he wasn't the batter, the cameras were not focused on him, so there's not that much great angles of the actual hit. There probably is maybe something out there. Who knows? But, yes, the cheekbone and jaw will have to have surgery. He is responsive, at the hospital. So, done for the season. We go and chalk it up because, we are in middle August. You're talking surgery in the face. I don't see it.
I can't imagine like what was going through their minds, man. Like 100 mile an hour to the face as a pitcher, man. I'm just glad he's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as okay as he can be.
Yeah, like it's nothing where they said the eye is fine, so you can see out of it. And so they says just a cracked upper jawbone, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And cheekbone.
Yep. It says he was released from Rush University Medical Center. He received stitches for 2 facial lacerations and was diagnosed with displaced tripod fracture in his right cheek that will require surgery.
Yep.
They examined his right eye, normal vision, no damage currently noted, so that's good. Got a CT scan, no further injuries. So, like I said, he's okay, but how is he going to rebound? We don't know. Because he's 32 now. He entered the game 12-3 with a 3.06 ERA. He was doing good this year.
And
the whole team
A's are right there. Like, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, man, it really is. So we wish nothing but the best for him, and I hope
so.
It's
Who knows?
recovery.
Maybe the surgery speeds up the healing process, and maybe he can be ready for a playoff push.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. Because if you're talking about playoffs, you're talking about 6 weeks away, which for a heel could be, especially if you do surgery, usually helps speed up the process. So we'll see what goes on with that, but we hope for a nice speedy recovery for Chris and the Oakland A's to get him back into. So the next thing, I know I was very interesting when I saw this at work today.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, Steve is not happy.
No, he's not.
So Mets owner Steve Cohen went on Twitter and pretty much blasted the team's hitting after losing now. What is it now? 5 in a row. Not including now since we just won today, but before the win today, lost in 5 in a row to the Dodgers and 2 to the Giants. So it's hard, especially when these are top teams in baseball, playoffs. The Mets are just not doing it offensively.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, Steve Cohen went to Twitter, as he usually does, and he says, it's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive. The best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie. The way he says that means he's not happy with what his team's doing, but the way he said it also makes me think that he's looking at the coaches and the staffing members and saying, you guys aren't doing something right because they should not be this way with the talent we have on this team.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if any of the players spoke out about this or not, but today they went out there and did their business. We went to, 12 innings?
12 innings.
Scored a bunch in the 12th. I mean, I think they scored in the 11th to take the lead, but then the Giants got it back. So then we put up a 6-piece or so and 5 or whatever in the
I think
12.
it was 4.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because it was already 2.
Pilar hit a 3-run home run, and then he got another insurance run.
So other than that, though, what do you think about what Steve said?
It's kind of eye-opening. Usually owners do not do this.
Don't speak publicly, yeah.
Yeah, like they kind of like, we don't like what the team's doing. We hope we can change it around. And he knows this is a stretch that's going to make or break our season, and he flat out said, look, fix it.
Especially when he knows that he's actually investing a lot into the team. He is bringing talent. He's doing what he's supposed to. So he wants to see the rewards.
Yeah. He's a fan first. He's always been a fan. Yes, he's an owner now too, but I think he's still got to learn how to draw that line. Are you a fan or are you owner? But
he's going to be the new type of owner.
I did see a quick little video where they're talking to the hitting coach, which hitting coach did get replaced already earlier this season.
Yes.
So it's not like we're trying not to score. You know
who we should get? We should get Mark McGwire. Didn't he have a stint recently, or is he still around?
He was with. Was it Angels or was it Cardinals? I can't remember. It was one of them. It was something red team.
It was. You're right. It absolutely was.
I think who it was. But, so now looking back on it, like the hitting coach that we fired earlier this year, was it really his fault? Because clearly, looks not much different.
Yeah.
We've been a stretchy team.
And we're always like this, man. We're always good, bad, and then injured. You can pick one of the 3. We're going to be one of those. Man, it's tough.
Yeah, and then the news coming out today of possibly Mets shutting down DeGrom for the rest of the season is like, oh, that hurts.
I know. So you know what? I honestly think that's a lot to do with it, man. Because like I said, we talked about this last time, how DeGrom brings the energy and everybody falls around that, and it carries a team. And with him being out, it's hard. Although one of our guys was dealing it the other night. Who was it?
Stroman was last night.
He had the no going on for a little bit.
Walker finally.
Yeah, man, Taijuan Walker. Yes.
Since the All-Star break, since he was All-Star, he's had a bad stretch.
Let's not bypass that. Yeah.
Against the Dodgers, me and I were talking you seeing this? I'm like, yeah, it's a great game because I am not jinxing this.
I know.
Of course, next inning,
we jinxed. I should have said
solo
nothing.
home run.
It's hard for me not to because I was like, look, man, we're through 6 or so, and
it was through 6. He's doing good. I'm like, okay. Okay, we can do this. Come on, bro.
And then next thing you know, he gives up a run. They tie it. Now we got 3 bases loaded. Basically, we bring in Loop or somebody. I don't know, but thank God he got out of it. But it was just a bad situation.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Thank God they didn't bring Familia in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but we'll see if this turns around. I believe it's the 4-game stretch time with the Dodgers, if I remember correctly.
Look, man, I'm going to say this. Even if the Mets don't make the playoffs this year, I still like the route they're going. I like what they're doing. So I'm okay with this. I would prefer us to keep winning and, do what we can do, but there's only so much you can control.
Yep.
I just like the fact that they're actually the owner's putting his time and effort into the team, and, sooner or later we're going to get some return.
Yeah, so we have our 4-game stretch at LA.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Hey, man, we could do it.
We have to split it. I think really we need to take 3 out of 4 to get back in it.
It's possible,
especially now since the
Dodgers are just as injured.
Dodgers and Padres are falling off.
Yeah, they are.
Atlanta has catch fire a little bit. They've won 5 straight, so they technically have a 4-game advantage over us, and Philly's 2.5 back from Atlanta, so it's still a lot of baseball. We all said the NL East was going to be tight. So, man, but this stretch is just rough. So, speaking of someone who hot, man, the Yankees.
Yeah,
they
it's
have
about time.
Crawled their way, which we at first were They're in 4th place. They're 10 back. I'm like, they got to do something soon. Those little odds and end trades and then finally getting some left-handed bats have got this team, even though they're missing Rizzo right now because of COVID, they are now in 2nd place, still 5 games out.
Back. So are the Red Sox. Red Sox are 5 games back.
But they now have the 2nd wild card spot as of today.
Right.
Man, talk about crawling your way back into the playoffs.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They are doing good, but so are the Rays. The Rays are 7-3 in their last 10. The Yankees are 7-3 in their last 10. So the Yankees just need to keep doing what they're doing, and they need to hope the Rays fall off a little.
Yeah, because I think Yankees have the best record since the All-Star break. So they're finally doing it. They got Garrett Cole back, I think, yesterday.
They could catch up.
They can.
I mean, they were a favorite to win this division. I still think they have a chance. At least the bet I made on them a little while ago hopes they have a chance.
Yeah.
But,
Well, you really think about it, if you look at it, Boston, same record, and then Toronto has fallen off a little bit. The course Springer has now hit the 10-day DL, but they're only 4.5 back of Yankees for 2nd place. So we'll know more in the next 2 weeks when we go to hit September, like realistically, what are your playoff odds you're looking at? Because Boston has been one of the worst teams since the All-Star break, and the Yankees have been the best team.
Yeah, the Red Sox lost, 10 of their last 13 before
They have pretty much the same record since the All-Star break as the Orioles. That's like a 300 record since the All-Star break.
And what I was saying was tough about that hit to the guy's face last night is that their last 10, they've won 8 of them, man, the A's. It's a tough situation. And let's not forget about the Blue Jays. Yes, they're down there, but they've won 13 of their last 18, so everybody's trying to step up.
Yeah. So technically, as of right now, Yankees have the first wild card spot because Yankees, Oakland, and Boston are all tied with the same record. Then, of course, Seattle's 4 back, Toronto's 4.5 back, Angels are 8.5 back, and then Cleveland's 9.5 back in the wild card game.
Wow.
So it's getting tight. Same thing with Padres. They're slowly watching their wild card lead shrink. Reds are 1.5 games back, so it's like they've been one of the worst teams in baseball since the All-Star break. And you think yes, Tatis was hurt there for a little bit. He's now back. Does that hopefully light it off? They still haven't been putting together. They lost. I think after putting a bunch of runs, they end up losing.
Yeah.
So it's this is not the time, Padres. This is that stretch baseball. We're all hurting right now.
Speaking of hurting, the Dodgers are hurting right now because they basically paid Cole Hamels $1 million just to work out for a couple of weeks.
Play a simulated game.
Man,
when I first got my notification, Dodgers at Cole Hamels to the deal ending his season, I'm like, excuse me, he hasn't even pitched yet. What the hell happened? So 2 weeks ago, Dodgers signed Cole Hamels to $1 million deal plus $200,000 per start for the rest of the year. Well, he didn't make the start, so he's going to get his $1 million. And I guess rehab his shoulder, and I think it's time to hang him up there, Cole.
Yeah.
This is now 2 years roughly in a row that you have tried to make a comeback and has fallen short with injuries.
And it's unfortunate, man, because he's been great, but most of that time of greatness was with the Phillies.
Yeah.
I honestly feel the same thing's going to happen with Verlander, man. I don't think he's coming back. I know he wants to try, but how old is he now? It's like 38,
he'll be
38.
I think he's 37 right now, so he'll be 38 next year.
This is going to be tough. But like you said, all the pitchers we're used to hearing their names, they're getting older, and with that comes injuries. The arm goes. It's hard to keep up. Unfortunately, Cole Hamels, like you said, he's done for the season. He might be done for the career.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Shoulder injury. It's all we've kind of been told, kind of said. He was pitching a simulated game when it happened. So it's shoulder pitching,
But what we do know is that the Dodgers are, the owners anyways, or whoever, they're hungry for more titles.
Yeah.
They're putting together anybody that they're think
hoping
can help.
Maybe just to fill in some starts there at the end of the season, couple.
And that's what I'm saying.
Could have been a bullpen option for the playoffs if he did well those couple starts.
Right. But even though he's not going to throw a ball for them and they lost $1 million, that is nothing for them right now.
No.
I'm just saying the way they're spending money, the team, the players that they're getting, he was going to help if he could, but if not, it was no big deal.
No.
So I think they're still in a good spot.
They are. Even though the Giants are still doing their thing, holding that division, Dodgers are definitely, we'll say, most likely going to host the wild card game, that 1 game playoffs. And there's plenty of pitching in that rotation to throw out there for 1 game. And if you need to come out the bullpen for a do or die game. So they're good if they don't get the division.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. You paid a veteran $1 million not to get him
just to say he's on your
professionally.
team.
Yeah, a start for you. So after that, we're gonna take a quick break and be right back about some more pitching that a division rival has added some question marks with. All right, so like we said, the division rivals of the Dodgers added a person which some people are like kind of question mark, scratching their head. I'm definitely scratching my head. Is the Padres adding Jake Arrieta after he was released from the Cubs by mocking a reporter for about COVID comment, and he was already having a terrible season. I think it was like 6-point-something ERA this year, and for some reason the Padres signed him for the rest of the season. Don't know why, but they did.
Yeah, or looking at my stat sheet, his stats for this year, he's got a 7.13 ERA.
God, it's even worse.
But he does have 5 wins, also has 12 losses in 21 games. Yeah, man, I don't know why either. I feel like it's because the Padres, they're kind of slipping. They need something. They're thinking if they go the distance, they might have Arrieta because of the name. He might help out. But like you said, he's not pitching well.
I'm hoping he's a bullpen guy that you get an inning.
That's exactly what they need.
Or like someone gets hurt and you are getting your ass whooped. He's going to go in there and throw some innings to get eaten up. I don't know. Like,
I don't think he's a starter at this point.
Yeah, I don't think, looking at the staff, I'm like, there's no way he's a starter. Like, especially what he's done.
What I would, I know.
I definitely see him. He's got to come out of the bullpen. He's probably good for an inning or two.
That's what I'm saying. If he could be a mid-relief guy, like come out and throw 2 innings, like transition to your closer guy, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I don't think it's a good move, but
yeah, like I didn't want to sign Arrieta in the offseason when the Mets were linked to him. I was like, no, thank you, no. And then he signed with the Cubs for some couple million. I'm like, he is not worth it. And then he has just stunk it up. Wonder why he never got released. I'm like, dude, you're all just paying this guy just to fill in for right now. Bring some young guys up, do something. And well, he just sat there and just mocked and got released and still got a job.
Right.
Somehow, some way.
Well, that's fine. Out with the old and with the new. Speaking of young guys, this next guy made pretty big news.
Yeah.
Tyler Gilbert. I'm not sure if you know who this guy is. He's a 27-year-old. And he pitches for the Diamondbacks. This is probably why you don't know about him. But guess what he did? He did something very amazing.
So wasn't his major league debut. He's done a couple relief innings and stuff. But it was his first career start in the majors
against the Padres.
Yes, this we'll say the roughly
the Slam Diego.
Slam Diego. Yes, they didn't have not Machado, but Tatis yet back.
Doesn't matter. Everybody's a solid hitter.
A solid all-star lineup in that team. You no-hitted in your first career start against the powerhouse Padres to tie the major league record for most no-hitters in a season now at 8, which I thought was funny. Who was it? What analyst was it a couple of hours before said, I guess the no sticky substance have calmed down no-hitters.
Exactly.
And hours later, we have a no-hitter to tie the record for this year.
And it's crazy because, like I said, just think about it. You play on a team that's really bad, the Diamondbacks, and you're up against Slam Diego, the Padres, and you throw no in your first career start. Man, that was crazy. And his dad was in the stands holding him back. What a great game.
Yeah.
Great game. I mean, I don't know what he's got, if he's going to be great or not, but he has this moment for sure.
Yeah, he was, if I remember correctly, he was traded from Phillies to the Dodgers, and then Diamondbacks got him the Rule 5 draft. So, 27, couple innings relief, and then you finally get notification you're going to get your first start. Family come, and you throw the game of your life in your first career. So I thought it was the first time ever this happened. Apparently not. It's in the early 1900s. A couple people have done it.
Yeah.
But it's just unreal.
It's very rare.
Because usually your first start, major league debut, or your start period, you got the jitters of the excitement. Your adrenaline's pumping. So usually some wild pitches, little mistakes. But he said his stuff has been feeling like elite recently, and we'll see if he can back it up the rest of the way. Because then, Diamondbacks might have found a guy.
Yeah, and they need it. What's crazy about this no-hitter is that the very last guy up to bat was Tommy Pham.
Yep.
I mean, he laced one to center field. Thank God Cattell Marte got a freaking jump on it. But StatCast said that ball had a 75% hit probability.
Yeah.
Bro, there's always got to be some crazy good play. to keep a no-hitter alive.
Yep.
But, man, that was great.
Yes, it was.
I loved it, man.
I was like, oh, we got no hitter. I guess I need to turn into it. I'm like, can you do it? I'm like, first career start. I'm like, this is unreal. And I'm like,
just imagine the father in the stands. What are you thinking right now? Like,
yeah,
what is going on?
Because first of all, like your family being there for your no hitter is
great.
Is unreal. But being like because they're all there celebrating your first start. You know, I think it was like his uncle, his dad, of course, his wife, girlfriend, whatever. But it's like,
think about it. Yeah,
it's unreal.
If you think about like, I'm saying yes, you know your kid's great and all, and this is his first start. You're probably thinking, all right, good man. Maybe he goes 6 innings. You know, maybe gives up like 3 hits and he has a good night. You don't think the man's going the distance and putting up zeros against the Padres? You don't, man. What a night. What a night. Congrats, Tyler.
Yeah, congrats. Now with a month and a half.
The records that he broke? Or
yeah, you know, the accomplishments, you know, that ball is special now. Hope we got a couple, give to the dad, you know, have one in your case. But, you know, now with a month and a half left, will we get one more no-hitter to set the season? I think it needs to by how many we've had early.
Well, like you said,
we'll see.
This was the 8th hitter of this eighth no hitter of the season.
Technically, the record would have been broken if they count Mad Bum's 7-inning one.
Well, they had 2 7.
Oh, that's right. We did have 2 7-inning ones.
Right. But anyways, this was a record breaker since 1884. And like I said, we can only assume it has a little bit to do with them doctoring the balls as well.
Man, early this season, I felt like we were talking about every week there for a stretch. Like, oh, we got another no hitter.
We were every time we talked about that night.
Like,
no hitter.
Here we go. We got another no hitter, people.
But also, like you said, the league deadened the ball some and the sticky situation, so we don't know what's going on. But you know, this one was pretty cool.
Yeah, very very cool. See what else we got. Of course, the Trevor Bauers going on.
He's pleading the fifth.
He's pleading the fifth. She for the 2 days, pretty much 4 hours worth of testifying. If you're pleading the fifth, dude, it's not looking good.
No, it's not.
No,
you can't because you're basically saying I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Yeah,
which basically saying you're kind of not in the right because I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on this.
And then the Washington Post dig in and found the girl that he said that she was like kind of stalking him, you know, and then he kind of put out there on Twitter all the text message stuff from her for the years.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, and he's like, multiple girls have contacted me like, look, Washington Post is digging. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm like, we'll see where this goes. Yeah. I'm almost starting. Trevor's not pitching the rest of this year. We'll see what happens next year because, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely not pitching this year.
MLB, you know, is guaranteed contract. So Dodgers on the hook for $45 million next year.
Thank God it wasn't us.
God,
that's all I gotta say, man.
So, man,
because I would have some choice words if it was us.
Oh, dude.
But either way, it still would have happened this way.
Yeah, but it's unreal. Like, you know. Now looking back, you know, the top three guys now with the whole Bauer situation. This is what the second or third time. What is it? George Springer has hit the DL this year, mm-hmm. and Remuno hit the DL like twice. So it's like these top three have not having a good year.
Yeah.
So we missed, thank God. But and then the last thing, you know, we finally getting some CBA information kind of getting leaked out there.
Oh yeah.
MLB has proposed in their, I guess, first talks and stuff to lower this luxury tax from the $210 it is now down to $180, which that's a lot. Mm-hmm. But also set a minimum salary per team at $100 million.
Yeah, they're proposing a $100 million salary floor and stiffer luxury taxes. So we'll see how that pans out, man.
Yeah, you know.
But what would that do? Like you said, if they have a $100 million floor. And what was the team we were talking about?
So Cleveland, right now, their entire roster is only $48.7 million.
Right. Just imagine you double that.
So you're thinking if you're not trying to add some veterans paying money, you're going to pay your younger guys more, I'm assuming. I'm wondering.
So I'm assuming the MLB's wanting to propose this because they want it to be more competitive.
They want to be more competitive, and then they've heard from... You know, their guys that they want the younger guys get paid more. The veterans are not getting their money share.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to save money, and this is definitely going to be interesting because, you know, Cleveland, your small market, your Padres, your Miami. So it's going to be interesting because now you're not going to be trading away these players and don't want to pay them because you now have to meet the salary minimum of $100 million if this gets through.
Well, we'll see how this works out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why the Players Association would have anything against it, because that means there's more money out there to be given.
No.
But you never know. I don't know what their thoughts are on this.
Yeah, we'll see how the trade talks happen with, not trade talks, but the negotiations, because they might want this, but what else is the players might have to give up to get the minimum $100 million.
Right. We'll see if it makes sense on paper. But this will be the time to bring it up.
So this is interesting that it's starting. We are about a month and a half away. That's starting to leak a little bit. There's some willingness. We'll see what else. But I think I saw on, I think it was Twitter, Facebook, something that asking if MLB should have a salary cap, and I'm like, no. Certain teams have more money than others. I understand that the tax. You do get penalized by have to pay extra taxes if you have more than what you should. I understand that. So, but if you want to go all in for 1 year and pay a little bit extra to get that championship, why not? Yankees did it back in 2009 and it got their title, but they've been trash ever since.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So if you want to buy one, sure, go ahead and spend your $200, $300 million in the offseason to get your one title. Or you can be smart about it like the Dodgers and be right there at the edge of the tax bracket and getting yourself some rings. It's interesting. We'll see. I think that might be it for us this evening. You got anything else, man?
No, man. I think we covered it all. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on a lot of things this week, see what's going on.
Yeah. So, all right. So, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up 'cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see your face where